When was the last time you heard a basketball bouncing on your street? Not on TV. Not at a gym. Outside. On the pavement. Right in front of your house. When was the last time you heard a kid laugh loud enough that it drifted through an open window? If you're struggling to remember, you're not alone. And the scariest part is, we've started calling that silence normal. I want to tell you a story about something most of us don't talk about, because it feels too small to matter. It's not politics. It's not a headline. It's not one single tragedy you can point to. It's quieter than that. It's the slow disappearance of the neighborhood soundscape. The everyday noise that used to prove that people were outside. Together. And I think we're living through a modern kind of loss. Not the loss of buildings. The loss of belonging. Close your eyes for a second. Picture a random summer afternoon from the late 90s or early 2000s. And maybe your version wasn't a quiet cul-de-sac. Maybe it was a city stoop. An apartment courtyard. A church parking lot. A patch of sidewalk that basically belonged to kids after 4 p.m. Different soundtrack. Same feeling. You didn't need a group chat. You didn't need a calendar invite. Kids were just outside. Someone's dad was mowing the lawn. A screen door slammed. A dog barked at nothing. A bike chain clicked as somebody tried to pedal uphill. Somebody yelled a name you didn't recognize. And it didn't matter. Because it meant the same thing. People are here. Life is happening. Now open your eyes. Rewind to today. Many streets, especially in the suburbs, feel like they've been padded with invisible foam. The houses are bigger. The cars are nicer. The Wi-Fi is faster. But outside, it can feel like nobody lives there. And here's what's unsettling. That nuisance noise we used to complain about. The bouncing balls. The shouting. The squeaky swings. The skateboard clacking on cracked concrete. That wasn't just noise. It was a signal. A human signal. That we were surrounded by a small tribe. Whether we knew their names or not. And when that signal disappears, something inside us notices. Even if we don't have words for it. Quick test. Do you know the first name of the person who lives to your left? And to your right? Not their last name. Not what kind of car they drive. Their first name. If you do, that's rare now. If you don't, that's not a personal failure. That's the system we've been living in. Because we didn't just lose the sounds. We built a world that makes those sounds less likely. Look at a lot of modern homes. The front porch, if it exists at all, often feels decorative. Like a tiny stage no one performs on. Meanwhile, the backyard becomes the real living room. A private fortress. High fences. Covered patios. Outdoor TVs. A whole life tucked behind wood and vinyl. And I get it. Privacy feels safe. But when the front of the house stops being a place you exist, your neighborhood stops being a place you meet. It's not only architecture either. It's the way we plan streets. The way we drive everywhere. The way sidewalks disappear. The way some neighborhoods treat hanging out like a violation. The way life got scheduled. The way 2 incomes became normal just to keep up. No villain. No secret meeting. Just 1,000 small design choices. All pointing in the same direction. Then the convenience economy showed up. Groceries show up at your door. Dinner shows up at your door. Packages show up at your door. Even your prescriptions can show up at your door. And look. Individually. Those things are helpful. Sometimes they're necessary. I'm not here to shame anyone. I use them too. But here's what changed. Every convenience removed a reason to step outside. Even for 5 minutes. And every time we lost a reason to step outside, we lost a chance to bump into someone. Not a deep conversation. Not some life-changing friendship. Just the tiny stuff. A wave. A nod. A quick, "How you doing?" A joke about the weather. Hey, your package is over here. Those moments used to be the glue. Not intimacy. Just proof. I see you. You're real. We share this place. Without that, the neighborhood becomes a row of storage units for human beings. And then there's the biggest shift of all. We moved our social lives somewhere else. We traded proximity for preference. Online. You can curate your world. You can find people who think like you. Like what you like. Hate what you hate. You can avoid awkwardness. Avoid disagreement. Avoid the random little friction of being around strangers. And that can feel like community. Because it is a kind of community. But it's missing something important. The low-stakes everyday humanity of living near people you didn't choose. The neighbor you don't agree with. Who still brings your trash can up when you forget. The older couple who waves every morning. Like they're clocking in for a job they take seriously. The kid who asks if you've seen their cat. In real life. Community is messy. It's inconvenient. It's imperfect. And it's exactly what makes us resilient. Now we're surrounded by people. But more and more of us feel alone. And this isn't just some vague emotional trend. The U.S. Surgeon General issued an advisory warning that loneliness and isolation are a serious public health concern. That isn't about feelings in the abstract. It's about what happens when humans, social creatures, lose the daily threads that tie us to others. And one of those threads is simple. Being outside. Where other humans can casually exist around you. There's another cost to quiet streets. One we rarely admit out loud. Neighborhoods used to have passive supervision. Not surveillance. Not paranoia. Just eyes. Grandparents on porches. Someone watering the front yard. A neighbor walking a dog. A guy tinkering with an engine in the driveway. If a kid fell off a bike. Someone noticed. If a stranger lingered. Someone noticed. Not because people were suspicious. Because people were present. Now we compensate for that loss in expensive ways. We buy cameras. We buy alarms. We subscribe to notifications. We outsource the feeling of safety. And we pay a hidden price too. What I call the loneliness tax. Because when you don't know your neighbors, you can't ask for small help. And you can't offer small help. Everything becomes transactional. Need someone to bring in your mail. There's a service. Need someone to watch the dog. There's an app. Need a tool for 10 minutes. You buy one. Because you don't know who to ask. And when something big happens, a storm, a blackout, a local emergency, the people physically closest to you are the people you know the least. That's not just sad. It's fragile. So what do? How do we bring back the sound of life? Without pretending it's 1999, here's the good news. This isn't a problem that requires permission from anyone. Not from Silicon Valley. Not from Washington. Not from an algorithm. It starts small. Almost embarrassingly small. Step 1. Reclaim the front of your life. Not your backyard. Not your feed. The front. If you have a porch, use it. If you don't, use your steps. A chair in your driveway. The front walkway. The stoop. The hallway outside your apartment door. The little patch of outside you can claim without making it weird. 15 minutes. No agenda. No phone. No earbuds. Just be visible. Because being outside is an invitation that doesn't feel like an invitation. It creates a moment where interaction can happen naturally. Or not happen. And that's the magic. Low pressure. Low stakes. Human. Step 2. Create a repeatable reason to gather. Not a huge block party that needs a committee. Not something that dies the moment you get busy. Something simple. Something you can do even when you're tired. Sidewalk chalk Sunday. Front yard coffee at 9. A porch light hour once a week. Everybody who's home turns on the porch light and sits out for a bit. No speeches. No plan. Or try the easiest one of all. Trash day. Be outside when you roll the bin out. That's it. The point isn't the activity. The point is the pattern. Because patterns become rituals. And rituals become something people quietly count on. Step 3. Lower the temperature of fear. A lot of us have been trained to see everything unplanned as a threat. A knock on the door feels suspicious. Someone you don't recognize feels like a risk. A small unexpected moment feels like something you should avoid. And I understand why people feel that way. But safety isn't only locks and cameras. Safety is also familiarity. It's names. It's routines. It's seeing the same faces often enough that your brain stops sounding the alarm. You don't have to force trust. You just have to create enough normal that people stop feeling like strangers. Step 4. Make it easier for noise to exist. Not chaos. Not disrespect. Just life. If your neighborhood has rules, formal or informal, that punish kids for being kids, then of course the streets will be silent. A living neighborhood isn't perfectly quiet. It's comfortably loud. It has basketballs, and dogs, and birthday music, and arguments that end in laughter, and somebody yelling, "car," during a game no one wrote down. That's not a failure of peace. That's the sound of people belonging somewhere. Maybe the tragedy isn't that our neighborhoods are quieter. Maybe the tragedy is that we got used to it. That we accepted a world where we can know thousands of people online, but not the name of the person 10 feet away. So here's my question. What would happen if this week you stepped outside for 15 minutes and made it slightly easier for your neighborhood to be alive? Not perfect. Not like a movie. Just alive. And if you want a simple challenge, the next time you see a neighbor, don't do the polite half smile. Say one sentence. Hey, I'm underscore underscore underscore. I don't think we've met. That's it. No big talk. No forced friendship. Just a thread. Because the sound we're missing isn't basketballs. It's each other. If this made you think of your street, your childhood, your porch, your stoop, that courtyard you used to hang around, tell me this. What's one sound you miss hearing in your neighborhood? I'll be reading the comments. And if you want more stories about modern life and the quiet things it's doing to us, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.